Hey guys, welcome to the
Spectacular opinion.
and here on today's podcast, on this podcast perhaps, we talk about different stuff like relationship, invite guests to give us their own spectacular opinion on that. And please don't forget to hit the like, subscribe to help this page grow and share with your friends as we're about to get this food cooking.
And your enemies too. Everybody that you know. Everybody.
Exactly. Today, we also have two very beautiful guests here.
We
We've already
do.
met one before, probably if you are in our channel, like if you are in touch with us. And she is.
Oh, I can say my name.
Yeah.
Well, my name is Omolara.
and,
Ayomide.
and as you all know, we have.
Benji.
And.
Shay Savage, Shay Shy, all of
Dr.
it.
Zeke, as you can know, we all know how he's cooking, right?
Yeah, we do.
All right, so let's get this food started. First question.
Okay, first question of the day is are y'all ready?
Ready.
Okay, cool. So, what is your biggest fear about marriage?
Biggest fear about marriage? I mean, it ending. Like, why would you want your marriage to end?
That's a nice one.
Did you ever have any fears about marriage? From other people talking about divorce and
Yeah,
what
I mean,
went
so
on?
actually for me, if you asked me this question maybe like I'll say 6 years ago, I would be like, yeah, I'm not getting married at all. And that's simply because like marriage is a lifetime commitment. So it's like if you nobody wants to go into something knowing like, oh, I'm not willing to put in the work to fix it. If something goes wrong, it's not something that you're willing to fight for. You're just like, why would I go and do that? I know I don't want to be a medical doctor. I don't go to medical school. So if you know you don't really want to put in the effort to make your marriage work, why would you get yourself into it?
Do you believe if you don't believe in divorce, then it'll make you work harder when you get into fights or when things, occur in the marriage?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
okay,
if
cool.
you're someone who doesn't believe in divorce, you don't see yourself, like once that person's in your life and you don't see yourself without that person, you're going to fight come hell or high water. Like, yeah, this marriage is not ending. Not saying that you would fight them, like force them to stay.
Yeah, you
but,
gotta make that clear.
you fight for what you believe in. Like if you believe that what we've started, like this can survive, that this can work, you'll figure it out. Like as you would with any other problem in your life, you'll find a solution and make it work.
Okay.
That's fair.
You have any comment?
Yeah.
AY.
I don't have any
Same?
comments.
Did you? So you
You
were.
have to make it work. So yeah, because no marriage is perfect. Everybody
Exactly.
nobody's
True.
perfect. Just between siblings, like you have your fights with your brothers, your sisters. So sometimes you'd have gone through a lot of misunderstanding with your siblings, and it's similar to having misunderstanding with your husband. Your husband is your brother, is your father, is everything to you. So
Your friend, your coworker, all of it.
Not
Okay.
coworkers.
Yeah, that was
Not
crazy.
wanna work.
I don't know about that.
I mean, look, you have some coworkers that you really
But yeah,
like.
in the
'cause
sense
they are
that
very
you want the
sensible.
company to survive, you
Yeah.
figure out a way to work with your coworkers. I get what you're saying.
I mean, I go back and forth. I mean, I see my parents; they're still married today, but I still have reservation because we're all sitting here. We've seen our uncles, even though it's been low key. Some of our uncles are on their third, and I'm like, what's going on here? And
Even the ones that are still on the first,
Yeah.
did the auntie really just pull you aside during
Yeah.
the party and explain to you what
what is going on?
You will know.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, I definitely want to get it because I want my children to be raised in have a strong foundation. But when I'm seeing, what's going on, and I mean, I put that aside what's going on with Americans because I don't really but I'm more so focused on our African uncles and aunties, and even them, there's still some hell going on in between. But I try not to focus on that too much because there are some good ones that still exist.
All right, so we just asked the questions about marriage, right?
What's your take?
Well, I'm not married, so
Still.
But, what's my biggest fear about marriage? Like, is it like the question just to make it more specific? Are you talking about before marriage or after marriage?
Before and
That's
after.
true, 'cause you'll
Like-
have different.
Yeah, because you
Well,
have
Oh, well, you can't say
different.
that, you know.
You understand? There are two different answers for if it's before marriage. Your biggest fear is can you really sustain the
survive
marriage?
it?
Can you survive it?
Yeah.
And you don't want to marry the wrong person.
Exactly.
That's the
Exactly, like being with the right person because whatever decision you make for your marriage, it's gonna go with
It
you for a long
affects
time. It's
you.
gonna stain you positively or negatively depending on who he is, as I usually say.
Oh my
The
god.
The woo.
Yeah, I want to say something
Yeah.
about that before marriage. Like even before marriage, like there's something I learned that you have to actually pray. Like even though you are dating someone and stuff like that, it will get to a point that you have to, if you want to be serious about marriage, if you get to a point in your life that okay, this is what I want to do, I want to go into marriage, you have to really pray about it. Even make sure that the person you are together with, you are in the same line, that both of you're really talking about the same thing when it comes to your beliefs and stuff. So that's very important.
Yeah. So while
That's true.
Yeah. So, but in marriage itself, as you said, I agree. Divorce, like, as we all know, we all mentioned that there's expectation. One thing I know is that we should always expect that we're always going to get into a kind of argument. I haven't seen a relationship where. I mean, you're not gonna see it outside, right?
Right,
but
right.
everyone knows indoor.
Some you
always,
see it outside.
Yeah, that one is
not good.
That one is already there's a big issue. That's where the issue is. You know what? When it's already becoming prominent that everyone outside is already seeing it, then there's the marriage is no more.
It's not a solid rock.
Yeah, it's not a solid rock
Fago.
anymore. You understand?
Fago.
Just keep it indoor. Take care of it. Expect it. Take care of it. Manage it and move on with it.
And can I say one thing? I feel like with marriage, before getting into it, like going for what's it called, counseling is really good, because you just have to like you mentioned, you have to know if you are both on the same page, like kids wise. Do you want kids? Do you not want kids? How many kids do you want? Exactly. Do you want pets? Do you not want pets? You have to know all that stuff. It may sound like little stuff, but like the little things count the most. And
I agree.
because I've seen a marriage like that. So apparently along the line, the husband decided that he wants kids. And the wife, at first, they both said they didn't want kids. But then later on, he changed his mind and said that he wants kids, and then started cheating. Had a baby outside. The marriage collapsed. They went different ways. I was like, wow.
Tough.
But
I know, right?
what's the definition of marriage, right? Is to be fruitful and multiply. So if we look at marriage, it depending on who you want to marry, right? Because culture is different. If you marry a foreigner, they might not want kids. They might believe their dogs are their kids.
Yeah.
You understand? They might
That's
believe
true.
their cats are their kids. So they're like, I don't want kids. Some of them come out straight. They tell you, I don't want kids. You understand what I'm saying? So those are the things that you have to look out for. That's why you can't just meet someone today and say you want to marry the person. You have to give yourself time to know the person, even without counseling. You understand? Because when time really teaches people, helps in decision making. Because in time, people show their real self. Initially, we fake ourselves to satisfy what we want. You understand?
True.
There's a certain perception that you're trying to create. So like the first time I meet you, like my hair is gonna be done, my nails is gonna be done. I'm gonna speak a certain way. I'm gonna dress a certain way.
After a year or two inside, it's
The
like,
wig is
whoa,
coming off.
fuck it.
The cornrows will show.
Exactly. You can only be fake for so long. You understand? You can only pretend for so long. Anyone that pretend forever, they are like king of pretenders.
But it's tiring
But
to
it's- yeah.
pretend
It
to
is.
be
It's
somebody
a lot of
else.
work to pretend.
It's
It's
not
a
gonna.
lot of work.
At the end of the day, you will lose everything because everything is fake. Even fake things don't last anyways. So,
True.
Yeah.
True.
Okay. The next question: what in your parents' marriage will you
Emily.
or not emulate? Like, what are the good things and the bad things that you would not want to do?
Well, okay, I can think of one for sure that I wanted to emulate from my parents. Was like, okay, both my mom and my dad come from really big families. So my mom is one of 7, my dad is one of 5. So like they're used to the whole having lots of cousins, lots of siblings, and they're very close to their siblings too. So they're not those
that's
people
nice.
where it's like, oh, I haven't talked to my brother in 6 months. My mom cannot even go one day without talking to at least someone in her family. So I love the fact that both of my parents were family oriented, and they instilled that in us as as kids. Like me and my siblings, we all live in different places, but we talk all
still
the
connected.
time, all the time. And so I appreciated that from them, because it's like you could see that that's something that they had in common, and that it makes their relationship work. Because now if my mom says, oh, well, I have to do this for my family, my dad's not stopping her from talking to her family. Exactly. It's the same case for him. So like being on the same page about what you value in life, what's important to you, that's something I wanted to emulate in my marriage. In terms of things that I wouldn't want to emulate in my marriage, now I think that's a cultural thing though, because you know, my parents, they were both born and raised in Nigeria. There's a certain way that they grew up thinking about marriage, whereas like I'm a city girl. I was born and raised in Miami.
Oh my God!
Oh yeah,
so, you know, I have a different thought process when it comes to like gender roles in the house. Like there's certain things before that my mom would tell you, like, no, that's your dad's role as the head of the house. He's the man of the house. Like I'm not doing that. That's his place. And my dad would do the same thing, where it's like, no, your mom, like that's her job as a woman of the house. The house is the house. I don't care who took out the garbage, who cooked, who paid what bill. Like I look at it as like we're partners. Everything I can do, you can do. God forbid I pass away, you're gonna tell me because a man should not change diapers. Nobody's changing my child's diapers. I'm not hearing it. So that was one thing that I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. There's no gender roles in my house. Like everybody contributes. That's what
I like that. I like that. Okay, any contribution?
Okay.
About what you would emulate versus not emulate from your parents.
Emulate is the way they always want to do their prayers and stuff like that, and always call us together. That we always ponder it too. As a family, we have to pray together. It's always ringing it in our bell that we have the opportunity as family to come together and pray. And even when I'm sleeping in the morning, like my mom and my dad prayer wakes me up, like. I'm like, okay, I know I'm an early riser, but at the point I stopped being an early riser. But nowadays, like their morning prayer always wake me up. I'll be like, oh my God, these people are praying, and I really love the fact that I can hear my parents praying and stuff like that, praying together and stuff like that. And one thing is basically the same thing I don't want in my own marriage, like the gender role things. Like you say, oh, this is what this person, like this my brother here now. It feels like then the girls is supposed to cook, the men are not supposed to cook and stuff like that. So it's not something I want in my own marriage. I want my husband to be able to help me. We should do things together and stuff, and it will be a very like it will encourage me and motivate me. Like I have someone that is helping me in this way and not just leaving me to do everything.
Teamwork.
The fact that
the dream work.
And the fact that even that was in the olden days, females don't those days. Sometimes that time that the culture was like that is actually because mothers don't work then. But right now mothers are working now and stuff like that. But if you are a compassionate man, like even though your wife is not doing anything, and you see that I watched the movie that the wife broke down because she was always doing everything. She's always preparing food, coming to give the husband food and everything. At a point she fell sick. That was when the husband woke up and he started learning how to take care of his children. So why can't you be doing this thing already so that it will not be hard for you and stuff like that?
Well, for me, I would say what I wanted to emulate is being wary of our friends. The entire time that I was living with my parents, even my siblings, we never had like sleepovers at all, and nobody came over to sleep at our house, other than like cousins if they were visiting from another state. But they were always like, even I regretted at a young age. Well, I mean, not a regret. I was angry at a young age, but like during a young age. Hey, I want to go play with my friends outside, and it's just right there in front of the yard. Nothing.
They didn't let you?
We never allowed.
Yeah, like son, stay home. You
like even you had a bed, not even a bedtime. What was it? What is it called? Curfew. And it was like 8 p.m.
Yeah, curfew and a bed.
So basically, like the parties, the high school parties. I'm pretty sure we know what went on in the high school parties. I had to lie to them. I had to be like, oh, so and so is having a birthday bash or. Whatever the case may be.
And they allowed you to go.
For me to allow. And there were some times they even draw me off. One time, they draw me off. It was a party, and you just see girls were like the little Christmas. It was a Christmas theme. So the one with the bunny tail.
Oh my!
And they're driving me like, beat at me. What is this? What is this? I was like, hey, just drop me off right here. I'll walk over there. And it was at night too, so they couldn't really see like the naughty nurse outfits and all that. So
Y'all need to have a separate one on parenting.
Yeah,
we have stories
so
for days.
I would definitely emulate that. Just like, you know, not allowing them to hang out with friends, being wary of their friends.
Exactly.
You know, because I feel like them being wary of their friends as we've gotten older, or as I've gotten older, I've been more wary of my friends. You know, I'm very careful who I hang out with.
Yeah.
Because I used to hang out with dudes that, you know, smoke a lot of weed, but I never did. But I hung out with them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So
I never.
on the spot.
And I never hung in front of their driveway at night just for the sake of hanging out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
not to cut you off, but in the culture, in Yoruba culture, they're like birds of the same flock together.
birds of a feather flock
Yeah.
together. Yeah.
Like, what?
She almost had it. Almost had it. Like 70%.
Started right, but then
Look,
the landing
English
was out.
is not my mate, so excuse me.
Well, yeah, no, I definitely agree with you, but I think it also depends. You know, it depends on where you grew up, because these things that your parents will be afraid of here is something that your parents wouldn't be afraid of if it was a different country. Although they'll be aware there's a restriction. You understand what I'm saying? But your parents not letting you go out to maybe play football or have fun with your friends, you understand, would not be a problem where I grew up. Because we don't have friends I don't have friends at my age that smokes. I don't have friends at my age, because we get disciplined when we do stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You understand? But here, no one is gonna. Your parents can't whoop your ass.
Shit, we still gotta ask what?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, you could call the cops. You could be a bad kid.
Yeah.
And be like,
No, I
"How
get
dare
what
you?"
you
do
threatened
that
me, like-
and send it
I
back
get
home.
what you're saying. Over there, like the way they train us in Nigeria is the fact that not only the parents during our time, it's not only our
Yeah,
parents
no,
that
your
watch over us.
neighbors-
Our neighbors are
Your neighbors
up
can
at
discipline
It really
last,
took
how
a
it is.
village.
Yeah, it takes a village. Then it was very nice. That time we
They'll
didn't
call
know
you,
the
come here,
impact.
knock you on the head.
Yeah.
You didn't know, and even though they don't knock you, they will actually tell your mom that
Yeah.
Or
you have
spank
to
and
watch
then
this
be-
person.
I spanked your daughter when you was not home.
Exactly. So just to define it and make it, to simplify it, everyone is your security camera.
Yeah.
Facts.
And I also wanted to say something about the gender roles. So I hear what you guys are saying, but even till today, my mom still cooks.
My mom still cooks.
She still cooks. I don't hear no complaint.
Yeah.
You know, at
I
all.
think
So
That's
the thing about it is
what worked for her.
yes, that's what I'm saying.
True.
If she loves cooking though,
But she still works.
Yeah, you
So
don't
the
have
thing
to-
about it is, I mean, I guess it depends. Obviously you're gonna have people on both sides of the
Yeah.
coin. So I'm not gonna say it's for everybody. You know, a woman that still works but still cooks for her husband after he gets home.
Yeah.
My dad still comes home, kicks his legs up. Yeah. On Jimmy. So you know what I'm saying? So obviously I'm not gonna. I mean, I know how to. Being a bachelor, I know how to cook for myself. My dad still knows how to cook.
Yeah.
It's not like every single day my mom's gonna cook. Sometimes
He cooks
Thanksgiving.
too.
Yeah. Sometimes he'll make his
Yeah.
pasta.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, he knows that he's gonna help her out and ease her off, because he knows when she's tired. All right, let me help her out. Let me cook for her. So, but for the most part, I think a woman knowing how to cook is essential.
It's
essential.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
two reasons why is
essential.
one, because she's an adult, and two, whether you guys like it or not, as a woman, the culture from the children is gonna come from the mother.
Yeah.
And because the dad's out there getting the bacon. Yes, the mom's getting the bacon too, but for the most part, the dad's gonna be getting the majority of the bacon. So who's gonna be feeding the child? And I'm sure you guys, as you guys are surfing through the internet, you see a lot of our food in America is they're putting like a lot of crazy stuff on there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you just gotta. I'm pretty sure as a woman you would want to be wary of what you're feeding your child. So therefore you want it to come from your hands.
Exactly.
So that's why. That's another reason. That would be my second reason as to why I would want the wife to cook. But obviously, like I said, being a bachelor, I know how to cook as well. I know how to make food. So I'm not gonna say.
One or two meals.
I know how to cook. Ladies, rewind if you have to. He said he knows how to cook.
Wait.
Just
You know,
one.
there's even about that cooking too. There's some men I've seen in marriage that the husband is actually a chef and he knows how to cook, and the wife doesn't cook.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't the husband allows it and all those stuff.
I mean, it's one of those things with the gender roles too.
Definitely.
It's like there's certain things that you have to play to your strengths, right? Like there are some households where even if the man is the breadwinner, he's not good with money. So he lets he'll make the money and then tell his wife to handle it.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
So it's like it
Whatever
really just
works
depends
for
on whatever
each
works for you,
individual.
whatever the balance is. My issue specifically with the gender roles is like when someone tries to act like it's not their business at all. You get what I'm saying? Like there's some dudes who really don't believe they should ever be in the kitchen.
It's culture.
Like,
you see, it's culture. I think it's culture because
American versus African.
No,
as far as culture.
No, you see, when you look at America, everything is twisted. Completely.
Okay, so when you say culture, so
that's why it's like American culture.
Okay,
you get to choose whatever you want to do.
Okay,
yeah, whatever gender you choose to be.
Okay,
gender fluid.
Even if you have it,
took a turn for the worse. But okay,
but anyways, that's just the way it is here. You understand?
Mm-hmm. Okay,
but if you are from Nigeria, you understand what I'm saying? It's not like women are expecting you to cook every time. You understand? But it's just more of. Now everything has changed anyway, as you said. If the wife is working as much as the husband, then there's no excuse for the wife to be the one cooking the food. Yeah. You understand? But if the husband is going to work and working his ass, then coming back home and you're sitting there at home and you're expecting him to come back home to cook for you,
then that's
and
exactly.
that's
not fair.
Yeah, that's like most of you are working now.
One at a time.
They are trying to defend.
No, but he's right though. It's not fair to him.
If the wife is
working, and again, it's also like, okay, if they are both working, right? Also in the same situation, the wife is more expected to cook than the husband. Okay, you understand?
Because usually women are better at it.
Exactly.
But in the case of a chef, I mean, if she can't boil water, you're not gonna let her in there.
Exactly. And sometimes the husband might be complaining that he doesn't like this food, he doesn't like that food. Then that's when the husband should start going to the kitchen and
at that point hire someone to cook.
But when you're saying that a woman is not supposed to cook,
that's
it's
like,
a little too you understand though? It's like saying a man is not supposed to work. You understand what I'm saying? Because then it's like, okay, if you are not supposed to cook, then I'm not supposed to work. You can go and work and I will do the cooking. You understand? Which usually happens sometimes. The breadwinner is usually the one that ends up going to work, and the person that is not making enough money is the person that
maintain the household,
that maintains the house and do everything. And it doesn't just happen here; it happens in Nigeria itself. Even more likely to happen in Nigeria than here, because I've seen many men that they are the one that take care of their kids. They take care of, you understand?
Yeah,
they cook the
stay-at-home dads are a thing.
Yeah,
it's not common, but
it's not common, but it's common. You know.
I wonder how they feel though.
Well, I wonder how they feel, but I mean, it's understanding. It's more of
trophy husband.
It's not matter of they feel bad. It's just more of understanding.
Some of them might feel bad.
If your wife, they might feel bad.
But I feel like they would only feel bad if they feel emasculated.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like, think about it like this, right? If I was making like, millions of dollars a year, my husband doesn't make anything. Yeah. And then I come home and be like, yo, broke ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not going to make him feel good at all.
No.
At all. Whereas if I now say that, I couldn't be making the money I'm making if I didn't have you supporting me. Like if you make that, once you strip people of their value, that's where the issue comes. Yeah, because you're basically saying what you're doing doesn't really matter. It's me because I'm the one that's bringing home the money. So it's like that's when the issue comes. When you emasculate those men, that's when they don't.
When you become too controlling. And you're trying to be, men also have that ego that they want to be
men ego, they're like this. Next question is, will you bend your back for an adult when they ask you to do something for them?
Would you bend your back for an adult?
Yeah, not literally bend your back, but
like be submissive.
What?
Yeah, or like go above and beyond. Like do something that's uncomfortable for you.
What kind of adult is this? Yeah. Just a random auntie and uncle?
Yeah.
No. Or are we still talking in the concept of marriage?
Are we talking in the concept? Okay, no. If we're talking in the concept of marriage, then are you saying like if your husband is older than you?
No, not mother. Like
if your husband is telling you to touch your toe.
Shit, where you want the children to come from, man? Come on now,
sir.
It can't come from any other world.
Okay, I think I get your question. Maybe you're
like making yourself uncomfortable just to please that peace. Person. Yeah.
Well, my Nigerian mentality will make myself uncomfortable, but now I'm kind of realizing that you can't. If you don't have the power to do things, better speak out. Just tell the person that this is what I can do. I can't do more than I can't do this, but I will do this. You get, because as a Nigerian, sometimes we just like to inconvenience ourselves too much for people that like if you can't really do that thing, but you just want to do it because of respect or for people to say you are respectful. But I feel like if you don't have the power to do that thing at that particular time, let the person know.
But finish.
And yeah, just okay. It's not easy, Sha.
Jenna is she's a real life Kanye West. I'm gonna let you finish, but Beyonce was the greatest of all time.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
No, but for real, even at that, like you speaking your mind, telling them politely, like, you know, I can't do this or whatever the case may be. So yeah, I feel like there's still some adults who will feel some type of like, are you talking to me like that? Even though you're telling them in a respectful way, like, I can't do this so because, you know, I mean, I understand being selfless, but not all the case. It's not all the time. In some cases I will not.
It's like if you're asking me like would I bend my back for my husband, like okay, is there something that
husband, yeah.
No, because at the same time too, no, you have to think about it like this, right? Before you get married, you are your own person. Mm-hmm. You have your own values. There's certain things that you've already told yourself, this is who I am, this is what I will and will not do. Okay. Right? When you are now meeting a partner and you're saying, okay, I want to marry this person, it's like you have to respect that they had their own values too. Yeah. Granted, if y'all have the same ones, your marriage is gonna be blissful, right? You're gonna agree on most, if not everything. But it's like there's other things where it's like I'm not gonna do that. For example, one thing I've never been able to wrap my head around is like when Christians marry atheists. Right? Because it's like, okay, am I willing to now let go of my religion for the sake of my marriage? Most people will not.
I have a question.
I will not.
Do you think that people from different religions can be in a marriage?
It's possible.
It's possible, but when I tell you it's hard,
I know one of like person.
Hard.
Yeah,
that's very hard.
Particularly black and Muslim. I'm sorry, excuse me. Christian and Muslim. We know many aunties and uncles that are one of the
majority of my family is actually still Muslim. Yeah. Okay. I was born a Muslim before.
Assalamu alaikum.
Okay. Before I became a Christian, but that's how I know that it's hard because it literally your religion, depending on how religious you are, that makes up a lot of your life. Yeah, that's a lot about how that develops a lot of your perceptives of like, okay, how am I supposed to raise my kids? What should my relationships look like? What should my career look like? Like that's something that really does make up a substantial part of who you are. Yeah. So it's like you're not gonna be so quick to compromise just for the sake of the ring. Yeah, you're not. You're not. That's something that you really are gonna have to. People's marriages have ended because of that. Because like that's something that they don't want to compromise on.
And also, I also want to mention, apart from religion, right? Mm-hmm. Let's talk about churches, right? Doctrines are different. Very. You go to like a Pentecostal church like CNS, right? Mm-hmm.
And then
I was like, what?
Anyways, you go to a church that wears a garment. Everyone wears a garment.
Okay.
They all have the robes and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then you marry someone that goes to
Redeem
or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And there are some things that we do in CNS that
they don't do
in Redeem. Do you think that could be do you think that could turn to an issue or become a problem in a relationship? When someone from CNS marries someone from Redeem or
it
something?
could, but it doesn't necessarily have to because again, it depends on those two people. If you're somebody like, okay, I remember I had a friend in college that I think she was like a Seventh-day Adventist, right? So you go to church on Saturdays. Oh, wow. And then the boyfriend that she was with at the time, he just went to like normal Baptist church to go to church on Sundays. Mm-hmm. And so her mom had asked her one day, she's like, I understand that you like this guy, you see yourself going somewhere with him. But now when you guys are going to church, are you going to be taking all of the kids to your church and not his church?
Exactly.
Like at some point it's like there's certain things that it's just better to do as one unit. Let's be on the same page just for simplicity's sake, right? So it's like it was one of those things where she had to really ask herself like, oh, would this ever become an issue? Right now it's not an issue. I go to church by myself, he goes to church by himself. But when the kids, it's like, oh no, they coming with me. No, they coming with me. Like it causes I'm not saying that in every relationship is going to be an issue, but there are times where you're basically creating that opportunity for an issue, especially if you're not willing to compromise. If there's certain things that you like, this is it, like I don't want this done any other way, find somebody who thinks like you.
True.
That's the only way to eliminate.
You have to communicate.
Yeah,
and
that's the only way to eliminate the
argument as well.
Can I play devil's advocate?
Go ahead.
We're all worshiping the same God. Mm-hmm. So why, just to play devil's advocate, why would that be a problem if, be it the 6th day or the 7th day, we're worshiping the same God? We may fast on different days. Why would that be an issue for those viewers that may ask, why is that an issue? We're worshiping the same God.
I can't answer that because, like I said, it's different for everybody. It's different for everybody. There's some people who don't care.
Do you believe marriage is a poverty elevation program?
Good question.
I mean, probably for those that don't know the true meaning of marriage.
Marriage.
Like what marriage is supposed to be.
True. Any other contributions?
The Bible says, "Can two walk together except they agree?" So I don't see marriage as a poverty elevating program, because both of you have to come together on things, like agree on things. Because I feel like if you're depending, not even in this generation, that you have to really talk about it. Though it depends on what both of you want. Because if you're saying the man can be rich and you might not be up to that, but if you might get, there are some men that to get to a stage it will be too much on them, and unknowingly to them they will just say one word to you. You don't want insults. You don't want any dirty. Like, you want to be.
See,
If that's the thing, because there's some people, you know how, like,
when
when they talk about if a guy is broke, right, that the woman should still stay there and endure, you know, and just because, you know, when he gets up, you know, he's gonna take care of you type stuff. That works for some, not for all.
Exactly.
That's first of all. But the thing about it though is, like, that's also the difference between being with somebody who's already established and then you meet them. Because if I'm established, right, I've already been able to get this on my own, and then somebody now comes, it's like, in my mind, when I was suffering for this, it was me. so it's still mine.
Where were you?
When people go into marriage thinking like, oh, he has all this money, he's gonna spend it on me, it's like, that's not always the case.
Yeah, no, that's to be honest, that shouldn't be the case. But that always seems to be the case.
Yeah.
Let's, like, if we're gonna be honest with each other, no girl wants to be with a broke nigga. Okay, a broke guy.
No, I mean, you're right.
No, you understand? No girl wants to be with a broke guy. You understand what I'm saying?
And guys don't want to be with girls that just come out to, you know, treat them like a bag. Like,
With the hands open.
No, to be honest, guys, I mean, I can speak for myself. Guys
speak
don't
for
really
yourself.
necessarily care about the girl having money. I mean, this generation, they might.
Most
but
guys don't.
Most guys don't.
No.
Yeah.
Because
they
it gives them more power.
And
Some
they're not
guys-
Respect.
women are not women. I mean,
Women
y'all
are
can
not
keep.
expected.
No.
to-
I was gonna say women don't really spend on guys like that.
Yeah.
Please do not do birthday and socks and all that nonsense. No. Most
does
chicks,
that?
excuse me, most women, let me not say chicks. Most women that get bread like that, they not really spending on a guy like that.
Yeah.
Other than, like, you know, holidays.
sure?
Yeah.
Most of the time. Yes. Most of the time.
I mean,
other than holidays
I know
and
girls who've
birthdays.
never bought their
Yeah.
niggas birthday
Yeah,
gifts.
other than holidays and birthdays.
Yeah.
Or
Well, what
Valentine's
girls be like,
Day.
hey, babe, you know what?
That's the thing, child.
Wow.
It's only
I'm
the only time
shocked.
that they spend is when they don't have a choice.
Holidays
No,
and
I
birthdays.
spend, just because.
And
Oh,
No,
for real?
most girls don't do
They
just
always say,
because.
Oh, for real?
one of a kind.
I'm one of a kind too. Yes.
Oh, yes,
I
exactly.
accept
Unicorn.
it.
But yeah, no, I do agree, because it's always been like that for ages. A guy is not gonna come to you and be like, "Where are you working? How much are you earning?" You understand what I'm saying?
Shit, I need to start doing
But
that.
you ladies, when you see a guy, usually you guys want the guy to, at least, you know, you want that respect for yourself. Because you know, when the man has everything, people will respect the man more. Because even if we're gonna be honest, people will say like money doesn't determine respect, but money does determine respect.
Money speaks.
There are some things that I always say that. I always say no, money doesn't speak. I'm like, money speaks. Because
money speaks.
you're not gonna,
back.
you're not gonna invite a poor man to come and talk about investment or how to make money. Am I, you know what I'm saying? So, because nobody wants to listen to someone that doesn't have
The experience.
that doesn't have experience or doesn't have the bag talking about the bag. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's just the way it is. If we're gonna be honest,
Yep.
men are expected to be at a certain level financially before a lady decides to want to be with them.
I feel like
That's true.
I think the other aspect of
Who
your
pay for the
question.
date?
I feel like the other aspect of your question is talking about, like, some people when they are married with their husband, they'll be expecting the family will now come in that, oh, it is your husband. I need this one for my sibling. I need this one. That thing happens a lot, like in
I'm sure.
Like, the guy gotta carry the whole
I even
family
saw
on his
one.
back.
Yeah, I saw it on
Yeah.
Instagram. So maybe that's why you're talking about the poverty alleviation scheme, because when you put
It's
pressure
on there too.
on someone, on a person's husband, that, oh, because you're not married to the husband, even though he has the money, you're not like, oh, your brother, your cousin, and stuff like that. Yeah, that's when you're turning into a poverty alleviation.
Money
scheme.
machine.
All right.
Okay.
Last
He could be
question.
poor tomorrow. Shit.
Yeah.
Exactly. The dice
Choose
is still
wisely. It
rolling.
says for rich or for poor.
For richer, my girl. Okay, so the final question is, how would you feel about your man liking another girl's picture or stories on social media?
And vice versa, right?
Go,
And
go,
vice versa.
Go, 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 go. That's the ultimate question.
All right, Laura, start us off.
If I am like,
Okay, never mind. AY.
my man liking another person's picture. If like I need to know my man, like he can't just be following just anybody on the social media.
Okay.
And I will actually ask questions that who is this person to you? Like if I'm noticing something, like I'll be like, who's that person? Who is this Jezebel? And if you're throwing it on my face, if you're throwing it on my face every time, like you're always like into
posting.
like a man is not. I feel like a man is not supposed to always. Especially when you're married, you don't need to always be on that social media looking for ass or boobs or looking for pretty girls, because all those things too is distraction. That's when you start finding things that this is what my partner doesn't have. This is what my partner has and stuff like that.
BBL.
Yeah, no.
Not even BBL. There's some. We are human being.
BBL.
What's BBL?
LBB.
What's LBB?
Anyways, what were you saying, AY, go ahead.
Benji, what's there?
I have no idea.
I don't know if I answered that question right, but I just feel
No, you're right.
But that is a good point, though.
That's
Like, because you would still want to be mindful of it, right? Like, what is your husband? I mean, and again, it works both ways, right? So, what is your husband looking at? What is your wife looking at?
Yeah.
The way that I look at it, and I mean, this is just the way my relationship is. It's like, okay, my husband knows like I am your wife, right? So like that, there's a certain level of like respect that you're supposed to have for me. There's a certain pedestal that I'm put on as his wife. The same way for him as my husband. There's a certain way that he is in my mind that no other man occupies that space. So my thing is, the moment you make somebody else start feeling like your wife, that's not your wife. That's when you've crossed the line. When someone now feels like she's my equal, you understand?
Or if you're supposed to have another girl on,
you know, like that's when it's an issue.
Yeah,
if it's like it's your cousin's birthday, you like your cousin's picture, say happy birthday.
Right.
Your cousin's still your cousin. I don't care.
That's family.
You know? Yeah, but when you start crossing boundaries and people start to feel like, oh, he likes me, until you say what?
Exactly.
You know, like
That's the thing,
no, you will not put
and
people
those-
in that space that's only supposed to be occupied
I
by
feel
your
like
spouse.
those things supposed to be defined even in relationship.
Yeah.
Because if you can't post me on your social media, tell me why you can't post me, which I won't post anybody. Yeah, I won't post any other person.
It's gonna be
I would rather not post.
it's true.
I will not, because I respect you.
Yeah.
I respect you. I can't be just posting other people on my social media.
True,
If I don't,
true,
there's
true,
some people that don't want people to know they are in a relationship. They don't want people to see their girlfriend. So you don't need to greet your female friends on your social media. If you can't greet, she's special. You said she's a special girl to you. You can't post her, but your female friends, you post them.
Yeah. So
Okay,
it's like it feels like when you do that, it's like you're cheating pretty much. Am I lying?
Yeah,
It doesn't
because
look like
you're willing to do
can't
more
go-
for them than for me.
Exactly.
True.
So you can't be in a relationship, either marriage or even when you're not married, boyfriend and girlfriend, and then you can't put me out there.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? That means our relationship, we are not proud of our relationship. We are not happy with our relationship.
Exactly.
anymore.
Why are you
That's
hiding
the
me?
mindset. Why are you putting me in the
Yeah.
dark? You understand? You put me in the dark so that you can go and play around and everyone will think I'm single and then we can, you understand? I mean, everyone will think you are single, then you can go around and be,
But wait, there's still some people who show the world like this is my husband, this is my wife, and yet they still cheat on a regular.
No, that's still
Those are the people who don't fear God.
Yeah.
God fears them.
So I don't say that one.
They
Crazy.
don't fear God. That's
No,
why
they
do the way
really
they
don't
do.
fear God, because it's just like, what's the point of you being in a relationship or being married if you
Yeah.
still want to be
Out
in
there,
the streets?
outside.
Like,
You also-
just stay single for life.
Exactly. And you also mentioned the point about being in a relationship and going through Instagram, checking people's ass. You know, as a man, you understand, to be as a man, when you're in a relationship, if you're already looking out, you're pretty much looking outside. You understand what I'm saying? You are looking for temptation. Temptation is not looking for you.
The Bible says you commit adultery with your
With your
eyes.
eyes.
It's not when you
Mind.
touch her
Yeah.
that
Your
you
mind too.
commit
Because there's a
adultery.
difference between when temptation is coming to you, when a girl is disturbing you every time and stuff, and when you are the one going to Instagram. looking
Then you
for a
start
reason to-
picturing
you
stuff in your head
understand?
like, ooh,
Yeah.
oh my
Ooh.
days. Oh,
Tantalizing.
very tantalizing.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So yeah.
I have a question for the AY and Omolara. Can can your husbands have female friends, friends of the opposite sex, while you're still married?
Okay, what kind of friend?
Not best.
Man,
No,
just
no,
friends,
wait,
bro.
wait, because
Friends.
now,
I'm
okay, but then that's when you have to really like sit down with your spouse and define friends,
Friendship.
right? Like,
Okay,
okay, my husband had female friends before we even started dating.
Okay.
I don't expect him to now just completely
Take 'em
you
out.
know, shoo them off. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I have a girlfriend now. You're dead to me.
Yeah.
Especially if these were like legitimate friends.
Yeah.
Like
Okay,
when he
okay,
was
okay.
down on his luck. Like those are the people who would help him out. Like you
Okay,
don't turn
okay,
your back on those kind
Yeah.
of people. You
Yeah.
just don't, because that's someone who's really shown themselves as a friend. But then you have the Jezebel, right? That will come after you guys have already started your relationship. That will then say, "Oh, bestie,
Yeah.
you never called him your bestie before." You will not do anything for him. If his tire was flat on Pleasant Hill Road, you're not going to pick him up. You're not his friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's those people. It's like you're not fooling anybody but yourself.
Jezebels
Yeah.
and Delilah.
Hey, why?
You're not
Um,
fooling anybody but
I
yourself.
feel like I must know the female friends.
All of them.
I have
And
to
know them as
not-
actual friends.
Yeah. We have to be friends with them. Me too. I want to be their
Oh,
friends too.
okay.
Yes,
Okay.
that's
Not
sorry,
the way
not to cut you off, but that's another thing too, because there's certain things where it's like you have to have enough respect for yourself as the friend, right? I have
Okay.
guy friends, right, and that they're in relationships. So like when they have a girlfriend, I'm not gonna sit here and be doing stuff that she would find disrespectful
Offensive,
or
yeah.
uncomfortable, right? Like
Yeah.
I would want to make sure that she is okay too, especially if I value that guy as my friend.
Yeah.
You don't want to see the person that's making him happy now become unhappy and his relationship goes to south. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like the friend too should want to know the wife. They should want to make sure like, oh, I hope I'm not doing
It should
anything to
be a
disrespect you.
beautiful
I'm not,
community
you
of
know,
friends.
crossing any boundaries
Yeah.
because
Okay,
yeah,
no,
that's
no,
another.
sorry.
I wanted to piggyback. So because you said that,
She don't gotta be
you
my
said
bestie, but
okay. So wait, she said
I mean,
she
you
said
have to
that
be
she has to be
cool
friends with her.
just to-
What if you don't like the girl? But this is his childhood friend.
You would like
you
her
don't
all
like
way.
the girl.
Yeah, just like I'm not really. Something
feel
about her
triggered?
energy is just putting me off.
Okay.
I'll talk to him. I'll talk to him.
Then you
like,
shouldn't
I
have-
will-
And
that's
I'll
his childhood
express myself
friend.
That, oh, yeah, I will talk to him that I'll tell him how I feel, and he will tell me, and I will see if it's something I can. And it will, maybe his inner eyes will be open to what I'm saying, because sometimes as human beings we perceive some energy through
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. Blind
Yeah,
sides
your
too.
spouse might be friends with that person and not really even perceive those energy, but at a point you might perceive it and really start getting some things
Human
out of
intuition,
it.
Yeah. No, you're
Because
right.
a lot of things have happened when you're alone, like you're falling into some kind of deceitful kind of people, but they pretend on the surface they are your friends, but inside they are not really your friends. So sometimes if you work together through prayers, communication, everything, you open each other's eyes to, oh, this is not the right people for you.
I do agree, because you mentioned the point, childhood friend, right? Childhood friend, you don't know the kind of relationship they've had. Maybe it's an intimate relationship. You don't know.
True.
You understand? I don't
Yeah.
know if the girl is trying to recover the intimate relationship.
That's why I say you have to know what
That's
type
a
of
weird
friendship.
childhood
Like
friend.
how exactly is she your friend?
It will shock
It will
you.
shock you.
No, but another thing too, before I lose my train of thought, if you don't like the friend, so whether you're the wife that doesn't like the female friend or the husband that doesn't like the male friend, it's one of those things too where the way I see it, because I'm not a controlling person, I don't do this, I'm coming to you as a woman, leave my husband alone. I'm not that type of person. You have to have that conversation with your spouse and let them know, like, this is why I don't like this person or why they make me feel uncomfortable. This, that, and the third. It is now on your spouse to
do the
decide,
needful.
okay, I'm either going to figure out a way to make you guys comfortable, like figure out, like, if this is how you feel, let's talk to her, let's resolve it, right? Come to a compromise. Or you now have to decide, like, is my wife's happiness more important than my friend's happiness?
Yeah.
And you have to, it's unfortunate, but
Yeah.
you have to make a choice.
That's tough.
And again, there is also.
And again, that's on the spouse to make the choice, because it's like if I told my husband, oh, you have to cut off all your female friends, right? Like he's always gonna feel bad, like, oh dang, like I'm not your friend no more because my wife said you can't be my friend no more. Like he still wants to be their friend, but he's just doing it to shut me up, right? Or to make me happy. I'm just, she said I can't do it, so I have to do it. It's like when your parents try to control you. But if they make that choice on their own, like, no, I don't want to see my wife like this, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to end the friendship. Well, I'm sorry, I can't be as close to you as I was because I'm trying to protect my marriage. There's a different, reaction that they'll have.
Sure.
And it's a lot better.
Can I ask you a question?
When they make that decision on
Can
their
I ask you a
own.
question? Now that you mention that, if your husband said, "Hey, cut this dude off," are you comfortable with that? Or do you?
What did I just say? I have to go through those steps.
No. I heard
You
what you
gotta
said.
go through those steps.
I heard what you
If-
said,
At
but-
that point, if I care, if I say that my husband's happiness is the most important thing to me, I'm sorry. The friendship cannot be what the friendship used to be.
Yeah.
I respect that. All right, fair enough.
No, I do agree.
I don't hate that person. You don't wish anything bad on that person, but
Right.
you have to
Okay.
now set that boundary for the sake of your marriage.
All right,
Yeah,
fair
because
enough.
you just answered my question indirectly about boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? I was gonna ask, like, when you're in a relationship, sometimes when you're not in a relationship, if guys do whatever, they come to you, they hug you, they do whatever. You understand what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But when you're in a relationship, would you limit? It's not like you have anything with that guy. You understand? It's not like you even have any feelings, or the guy have any feelings for you specifically. But that's where you guys just see each other. Like, you just joke around and stuff like that. But if you're in a relationship and your husband doesn't like it,
You mean like
would you step back from such?
Yes,
I think
because like
Like,
I
you
said
talking
about
about-
when you have that space for your wife or for your husband, like, okay, the way that the analogy that always plays out in my head is like, let's say this is a room full of guys, right, and my husband is here. I would never want a situation where my husband is saying like, oh, Omolara does this and that for me, and like 10 other people are like, yeah, I mean, she does that for me too.
crazy.
I want them to frown and say, damn, she never did that for me.
Yeah.
That's how I want the other guys to feel. I'm not gonna make anyone feel equal to my husband.
Exactly.
That's a good point.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Shit,
What's
look
that? Yeah,
crazy.
she makes I'm
Same
allowed for
way she's
everybody.
talking.
She says for
picture my
everybody.
Just in
I
case
want to feel special.
Exactly. You don't want to
True.
feel like, oh, everything that she does
yeah.
for me, she does for
And
everybody.
it goes for relationship, boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
it's
is
the
like
same
what makes
thing.
me different. Like
Yeah.
what really makes me yours.
Yeah.
Like
So
yeah.
I think one thing is in a relationship, the goal is to make your partner not uncomfortable. You understand?
Respect.
Because when you start making your partner feel uncomfortable, it breaks the relationship, or it creates
True.
problem in the
Yeah,
relationship.
there's tension there.
Yeah. So.
And
yeah.
another thing is, I feel like once you respect yourself as a human being, then you respect your partner. But if you don't respect yourself, then you cannot respect your partner.
Yeah.
It's just not done.
Exactly. Exactly.
One more question.
I thought you said
no,
last question.
this is the last question. This is the last question. Because AY and Laura wasn't here. It's just a quick question. Joint or separate bank accounts in a marriage?
Or hold on, let me add to that.
Plus.
Joint or separate, or joint and separate.
Joint and separate.
Okay. You?
Yeah,
AY.
joint and separate, because there are some things we'll do together as couples.
Yeah, and
so
things that you're
we
doing
want
now.
to be accountable. We want both of us to be like transparent with each other. Like, see, this is what we're doing together.
Are you letting? Sorry.
okay.
Are you letting the spouse know? Hey, this is how much I have. Or no. Let me take that back. Is there borrowing? Because I've had my mom and dad have borrowed from each other. Is there borrowing,
Yeah.
or is it more so I'm lending you and you don't have to pay me
I
back?
mean,
I
it's
know
like
it-
it's
okay.
borrowing, but it's not really borrowing, right? Like, because my
Oh,
husband
okay.
sometimes say like, "Oh, you got like $20, I don't have cash," right? He'd be like, "Oh, I'll pay you back," but it's like at the end of the day, like the government looks at us as one when it
Yeah,
comes to our
exactly.
taxes. Like, your money is my money.
Yeah.
You know, if you mess up with your money, you literally are messing up my money.
Yeah.
So, so that's why it's like we might use the word payback, but you're not really paying me
Okay,
back.
I wanna
'cause
ask one
we're coming
more
out of the
question.
same pot.
And
Squatter?
this will be the final question.
Yep.
This question is, let's say you and your husband have money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's smart for you to keep some money aside for yourself without letting your husband know that you have a savings somewhere?
Oh, I have a question on that.
That's a good
I will
question.
answer that.
I have something to say.
I'm
Go
not
ahead.
married, but I would definitely do that.
Why?
You need your safety net.
Security,
You
yeah.
need your safety net.
Okay, that's the whole point of having your personal.
So you don't trust
and-
your wife?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
But that's what I was gonna say. I'm
But
like,
he said,
yeah, 'cause it's like if you're
separate
doing
bank
that
they don't
accounts,
have any
no.
idea.
that they don't even know this
At
account
all.
exists.
Yeah.
They don't know it exists.
Then you have to look at yourself and say, like, what am I not trusting my spouse
exactly.
for? Right? Because it's like, if I feel, because, okay, I'm big on transparency when it comes to relationships. So I feel like if there's ever
Same.
time that I don't want to tell my husband something, it's like, why don't I want to tell him?
Oh,
Like,
okay.
why
What-
would you
okay,
want to
you know,
hide something from your spouse?
So, sometimes it might be a situation where you realize that your spouse spends money anyhow, and you want to not be in a situation.
Yeah.
Okay,
you
that's
have anything.
understandable. Yes, I would want to have a safety net at that point, but I'm also still going to tell my husband, like,
Yeah.
we have
Sorry.
to address
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
at some
So
point.
that's I would do that in a boyfriend girlfriend. I wouldn't do that in a marriage. So that is a good point. Like, why are you hiding that from a marriage? You guys are as one. So
You
that is
shouldn't-
that's
you
a
shouldn't
fair
keep
enough
secrets
point.
in marriage.
Yeah. So
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So safety
Secrets
net.
can
Yeah.
kill.
So AY.
Marriage.
Yeah, you shouldn't, like you said, you shouldn't keep secrets. So yeah, you can have your savings, let your spouse know, but you just tell him that don't touch it. Like no, you can't. He doesn't even have access to it.
Don't put his name on there. It's that simple.
So you'll not be able to go there. We do like the no-go area, but he knows you.
Some of us will still put the eyes inside and be like,
So you have
what about the one again?
I saw a story, like it was really just tragic a while back. These couples are old. When I say old, I mean like 50 something and 60 something year old, husband and wife. So the husband found out that the wife has a whole house that she built with her own money, and that she also, I think, bought a car. Like she just has several properties, and he just now figuring it out. Like he didn't know all these years at all. So he was just like so hurt that he just burned her down inside the house. Like he killed her.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, situations like that, may we not experience such.
I mean,
because there's an advantage to having secret and surprising your spouse. Like, hey, we just bought a house.
Yeah.
But it could also be a problem at some point, just like you mentioned, or it could be a problem in another different perspective. Like they're like, why did you tell me? At least we would have planned this together. Because my taste is different from yours, and where we want to live, we should all come to a conclusion of a specific taste. Not you doing your own thing, and then you just suddenly surprise me. Although I like surprises, but at least I want to get
to do something like that, you have to really know your spouse.
Exactly.
I don't
like surprises or not.
I don't know if I like. I don't think I like surprises.
I don't.
And
I
again,
like
why
financial surprises?
I feel like
no.
I feel like there is something that they didn't say in that story that is not adding up.
Probably
because sometimes all these stories you really find out maybe she found her husband cheating or something, and that's why it's good to speak out, communicate. Tell you if you see something, if it's that you want to end it, just end it with the person instead of you struggling with someone that you can't stand him cheating. So because of that, you now went to revenge and you did that kind of big stuff, and I feel like there's more to it than just this thing. There's something that they didn't put out there.
A whole house and some cars.
All right. Want to use this moment to appreciate our guest.
Thank you for
Is
coming.
it Omolara or Omolara?
Omolara. Omolara.
And is it Ayomide or Ayomide? Ayomide. Yeah, thank you guys for coming.
Ayomide and Omolara.
Hilarious.
All right, thank you guys for coming, and as usual, don't forget to like,
Comment,
share,
and subscribe.
All right,
we got that.
Click that bell for the notification.
And
Y'all